Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark here, Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. Hope all is well. All my male and female angler friends out there in the fishing world, I'm hoping the lines are tight and the drags are screaming loud for you. Today, interesting topic, one that all of us that are involved in the outdoors and in the freshwater and saltwater world come across. And it's been debated for eons, whether it's good or bad. Well, today I'm going to share some knowledge with you. I think you're gonna appreciate it. The truth about wind. Is it a friend or is it a foe? Well, let's talk about it. The truth about wind, okay? You know, in my line of work and what I do, being a wade fisherman, the wind plays an extreme role or extreme part in my day. So I'm going to discuss my opinion on it and from what I've learned after 22 plus years of wade fishing grass flats of Southwest Florida. Now that includes fishing on kayaks and fishing off a flats boat as well. But the majority of the information gathered that I use is from my wade fishing experiences, and that's what I share. I mean, it works, you know, for the most part, everything I share with you guys works, in sync with a kayak or with a flats boat. But this experience and what we're about to discuss is from what I've learned about the wind wade fishing for the last 22 plus years. But before we do that, I must say thank you to, again, the subscribers, the followers, the sponsors, the companies that have brought me on their pro staff, and everyone else in between. Hats off to you. Thank you very, very much for your support. I really appreciate it. And I hope all the information that I give you helps you to be a better angler, and that's the ultimate goal. To keep you guys tuned in, to help you out when you're on the water, and to provide, good content so you'll continue to come back and enjoy what I do. So with that being said, let's go forward. Number one. Wind from the east, the fish bite is the least. Wind from the west, the fish bite is the best. Wind from the north, few sailors set forth. Wind from the south blows bait in their mouth. Those are some strong words out there, and a lot of them are true. So let's talk about what I've heard and the different variations of this old fishing rhyme. And I've heard it 1,000 times since I was a kid. While it's not always correct, it's this little proverb is a good predictor. It really is. For fishing trips, across the United States, here in Southwest Florida, East Coast of Florida, North Florida, Northwest Florida, it plays different roles, and some of it is really correct. But I'm going to tell you why. The wind direction doesn't cause fish to bite. That's a myth. Okay, but the reason behind the wind direction, that's what it does. For example, on an east wind, that usually blows after a cold front. A rapid drop in the water temperature is always a shock to the entire aquatic system. Well, what does that mean? That means if you go to your usual flats and you were fishing in warmer temperature and you had a quick drop in that temperature, fish may tend to get what we call lockjaw, and they're not going to chew. Now, when the fish are when they get shocked, it's not surprising. This is basically the kiss of death for catching fish. When that next day after the cold front, and a lot of people know that. So it's not new news. But if you see a rapid change in temperature, knowing that fish are cold-blooded, expect if you go out first thing after a cold front that you are going to find that it's going to be tough to get those fish to chew until they warm up. Now, a west wind, on the other hand, that usually happens right before a storm comes in. Now, sensing the changing conditions, fish often go on a binge or a major bite right before the front, which makes fishing, awesome. It makes for a great day. It's, I'm not going to say it's 100% accurate, but I've noticed when we get that west wind and there's a front coming, the barometer starts to drop, starts to not look so nice outside, and 9 out of 10 times I can just feel it, I can smell it when it's coming, and I'll usually get into a really good bite in those particular situations. And that's why they say, wind from the west, fishing the best. And for the most part, it's true. And I do believe it's because of the conditions. I believe it's because of the barometer dropping, and the fish getting ready for something to come. So they go on a feed. Now also, the north wind. Now this, I tend to see this a lot more in the winter time here in Southwest Florida than in the summer. But it's also, associated with a cold front. And, regardless of fishing, cold air and big waves, makes most boaters and waders think twice about going out. So, the north wind is going to blow, stir up the water and cause, we'll just say, a ruckus. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. And we'll get into that in a minute here, and why that's helpful. And finally, south wind. South winds blow during the warm-ups in the spring and fall, and or it can bring in stable weather during the summer. Both of which are normally agreeable to the fishermen and the fish. So, statistically, going through what experiences I've had and seeing how the fish react, that south wind just absolutely does something. It does something to the fish that I really don't understand. But that south wind tends to bring them on. Over here in our spring months, heading into summer, March, April, May, June, July, August, and when that wind comes in from the south, it tends to really stir them up. I don't really know. I'm not 100% accurate on why that happens. It just does. Another old saying is that, wind is the fisherman's friend. And, I tend to believe that. That's why I made this video. Is the wind a friend or foe? I believe the wind is your friend because of what it does and some of the circumstances or some of the situations it causes on the grass flat. I agree that a little bit of chop on the water reduces the visibility underwater. Well, that helps us in two ways. A, if we're walking across the flat, the fish can't really see us. They can feel us. That's why we walk in stealth. And if you're on a kayak or a flats boat and you're poling, or if you're using your pedal drives, they can't really see it that much. There's a disturbance in the water, so they can't really figure out what's going on. They may be able to sense it, but they can't pinpoint it. So again, that is going to help you as the angler and scare not scare the fish off the flat. By that chop reducing the visibility on the water, fish can't really see the flaws in your presentations. The wave action along the shore often stirs up the bottom of the food chain, giving the bigger fish a reason to feed. Now that is important. When that wind comes in, it's going to stir it up. The smaller fish are going to get tossed around. They're not going to know where they are, what they're doing. And that's what predators are waiting for. They're waiting for that opportunity to catch these small bait fish or even large bait fish off guard. And when that wind is blowing, a little bit, and the waves are rolling a little bit and stirring up that bottom a little bit, it's causing a disturbance on the flat, and it's making the smaller fish not as aware as they would be as if the water was completely still and it was a bluebird sky day, and zero wind. So on those particular days when you go out there, I tend to do it myself. Oh man, it's windy, da 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 da, and I hate the wind. I tell you what, wind is your friend. So with that being said, I will take an east wind or a north wind over no wind. Now everything in moderation, trust me, you don't want to be out there in a 50-mile-per-hour wind, okay? But 5 to 10, even 10 to 15, coming out of the north, coming out of the west, coming out of the south, is okay. Preferably, we want that south wind. That south wind is the wind that tends to get the fish biting. And I'll even go with as far as saying from north, south, east, west. If I was going to say my best day, the best fishing wind for me would be out of the south, least would be out of the east. Coming in number 3 would be a north, and then last I would go with the west. Not saying that it agrees with everything that's said from what I described here and from my notes, but that's my personal opinion. So I hope everything helped. I hope this helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Get out there, wet a line, work that lure, get the line tight, get the drag screaming, get yourself on a line sider, a redfish, and a sea trout. I'll see you on the next adventure. Take it easy, guys. Love you all.